Hey everyone, I don't want to limit my channel just to Kubernetes, so this time I am trying to add to my portfolio some data engineering projects. So I decided to follow this tutorial. This is about 1 hour long, and honestly I actually learned a lot, even though it's pretty hard to replicate all of the steps, but I successfully did this. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. So as you can see, this is Spark cluster. Here he gives instructions on how to start a Spark cluster using Docker Compose. I used a so I used my machine here. I spinned up an instance. The instance is called Spark clusters, and it has 4 workers. Yes, all of the master node and 3 worker nodes, they all run on the same machine. The machine is T2X large, so it cost me about 20 cents or 30 cents per hour. I've been running it for about 4 hours. So in order just to see this web UI, you have to enable the 9090 port, which you can do in the inbound rules. So in the inbound rules section, you go to security groups. Here you have the inbound rules, and here I have my here's the 9090 port. So this 9090 port has to be open just so that I can see what's going on my master node, right? Spark master. As you can see, there is one job running, the final job that is running here. Let me actually refresh the page to see the changes, and yeah, it finished it. So this one, it took me about 3.2 minutes. Yeah, about 3 minutes. Yeah, this whole tutorial was actually pretty hard to follow. So this is how it goes. You first rent a ec2 instance. You do the necessary configurations in the security and networking. Then I upload Docker Compose. I follow the instructions on how to install Docker Compose. I install Docker Compose as a tool. Then I use Docker Compose to bring up the entire infrastructure, which is the Spark. All of these Spark containers, all of these Spark nodes, they run in containers. So as you can see, there's 4 workers, but there's 3 worker nodes and 1 master node. So in total it's 4, but they're all running on one ec2 instance. These are the completed applications. As you can see, I can go a little bit deeper into each application ID, but I cannot see the logs because I have to open some other ports, which I tried to do and didn't succeed. Anyways, so this is how it works in my VS Code. So it's kind of tedious here what he did, but I followed it anyway. So first I actually after I start my Spark in Docker, basically after I spin up my entire Spark cluster, I log in, I make sure it works, then I start a visualization.py. It is a pyspark file. It's basically a Python file where I use pyspark. Pyspark is the driver for Spark cluster written in Python. So basically all of this is Python code that gets translated and can interact and send commands into Apache Spark cluster. So I run this whole thing. Basically I run this whole thing here. Not actually, I don't run it here. I incrementally write this code, and then I use a script which is just upload. So I upload this entire visualization.py using my key, and I upload it right into the directory. Here I actually have 2 bash terminals. One is logged into Ubuntu on the cloud, the ec2 instance that I used, and one is local. Local is this machine, is this VS Code. So on the cloud, I actually run the whole thing as, let me show you. That's a pretty long command. Yeah, this one, sudo docker exec -it. So sudo docker exec means run as administrator. Docker exec means go inside a container. This is the container name. Inside the container there is the actual node. I use the spark submit command. So I run this spark submit command with all of the necessary options inside the container. And since I uploaded all of that stuff that I had here on my local machine, the visualization.py, I upload this to the folder jobs, and since this is a Spark job, I run it inside jobs folder. Jobs folder is basically just, it's not a mandatory thing, it's just that you have to use this folder. I'm using this folder name to indicate that I'm running Spark jobs. So once I uploaded this PySpark code onto my ec2 instance, onto my Spark cluster, I actually run it here. So Spark submit is the actual command. After you hit Spark submit, you actually go here and you see that you have this, you actually see your jobs here. When you hit the refresh button, you can see the jobs running here, the running application, the completed, and so on. And after that, finally, here's basically all of the visualization part, right? This visualization part, I convert my data frame, my Spark data frame, into a pandas data frame, and since it is pandas now, you can basically use libraries, visualization libraries that work with pandas data frame. And after you do all of this stuff, you have, in my remote machine, I have actually, I actually have my, let me show you. I actually have in my output folder, I have these HTML files, and these HTML files, I download them using a script. This is the script again, so I download them and I'm able to actually see what it does. So I'm going to show you. So this is the final result. So this is the pandas plotly library, visualization library, that allows you to see what's going on here. That basically shows you the result of the number crunching that Spark cluster has done for me. It's probably kind of tedious, but anyways, I think it's a pretty good data engineering project. It's just one of the many that I plan to do. And if you're interested, I'm gonna show you the GitHub link to my repo. In this tutorial, he actually does it on Azure, and I tried it on Azure and it kind of failed because, I don't know, there was something changed with Azure security, and I couldn't just SSH, so I decided to use Amazon. So my follow-up with his tutorial is almost the same, except that I used an ec2 instance, t2x large. I guess that's about it.